Hi, I'm Dustin Abbott, and in my final bit of coverage on the new Tamron 70-200 G2 lens, I want to do just a brief episode where I give kind of my opinion for those of you that are asking as to the strengths and weaknesses of each lens and what I think will be the better option for you. So obviously, this lens has been established as one of the absolute best for a number of years now. Canon has done a great job with this lens, and it continues to hold up really well compared to the newer offerings, either from Tamron and then, of course, also the new Nikon lens that has come out. It really is it's an awesome lens. But in terms of the overall build quality, at this stage, it's really hard to give a win to either side, and so I think that both of these lenses are beautifully made. They have quality weather sealing. They both have metal construction. They both feel like professional grade lenses, and so fluorine coatings on the front. There's very little to distinguish them in that way. And so in terms of a strength for the Canon, however, I do like both the positioning and the feel of the rings a little bit better, particularly the actual manual focus ring, which is much broader than the Tamron ring, and so it's easier to find by feel. And then also, of course, these two rings are reversed, with the zoom ring being closer to the actual camera on this one, which is my preferred position rather than having to reach out to do that. And so with the Tamron, it's reversed with the zoom ring further out. And some of you that are Canon shooters will also prefer the fact that, of course, the Canon lens zooms, it moves in the traditional Canon direction, whereas the Tamron zooms in the opposite direction. And so in that sense, I give a win overall to the Canon when it comes to that. However, a win for the Tamron comes when it comes to the actual tripod collar, and particularly the tripod collar foot. The new Tamron has one that is designed to be compatible with Arca, that is Arca Swiss compatible, which means that you can just pop it right onto a tripod, or most tripods, and just tighten it right down and be ready to go. Whereas with the Canon, because it doesn't have that, it will require you to screw on a quick release plate, which is just an additional step, and also means that when you're done, you're probably going to want to unscrew the quick release plate, and if you don't, it won't balance as well. And so I definitely prefer that newer design for the Tamron. Both of these tripod collars are removable, and so that's kind of an even Steven there. When it comes to the image stabilization, the Tamron actually surprisingly offers up more modes now. The Canon has two modes. One is the primary typical mode, the other is one for panning. The Tamron has both of those modes, but also offers up a third mode, and by default that is on what they call capture priority, where the image stabilization, it doesn't try to stabilize the viewfinder, but only kicks in right at the moment where you take a photo. And so as a result, they're milking more stops of hand holding out of that. And so it's actually rated in that mode for 5 full stops as opposed to 4 stops. In my test, that mode works very well, and it provided the highest keeper rate at very low shutter speeds. That third mode can also be programmed through the tap-in console to be a more video-centric mode, to where the behavior is more about stabilizing the viewfinder, or in other words, being very smooth in its transitions on and off, and providing as much kind of ongoing steadying for video capture. And so I'm going to give the win to the Tamron for its VC. Both of these systems are very well behaved, by the way, and they're very effective. And so good job on both counts there. Now, when it comes to the image quality, again, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The Tamron has the stronger performance towards the wide end and through the middle of the range, and they even out in the middle. But at the long end of the range, which I think is arguably the most important, the Canon is the stronger lens. And so I think for many people, that is going to be the most important to them. And so you just need to make a decision based on where a lot of your shots land. If you shoot primarily 70 through, say, 150 millimeters, the Tamron actually gives you the better image quality. If you primarily shoot towards the telephoto end, 150 to 200 millimeters, the Canon is the better bet. And if you want to use it with extenders for more reach, although the new G2 lens performs well with Tamron's extenders, the Canon is still the better lens with the extenders because it has better image quality at the telephoto end. And so while it's hard to really declare one the winner overall, I think that whatever is the winner will depend upon your shooting priorities. Now, one area that the Canon is a clear winner is when it comes to a phenomena called focus breathing, which I cover in this episode here. And the Tamron, by comparison, it loses some of its focal length at short distances. I did compare them at infinity, and they frame basically identically. So they both have a full 200 millimeter on the long end. But the difference is that at close distances, the Canon actually breathes in the opposite direction, and it becomes effectively longer than 200 millimeters. At close distances, it's somewhere around 220 to 230 in that range. Whereas the Tamron at close distances, it's going to behave more like 160 to 170 millimeter lens. And so as you begin to move further back, those two begin to stabilize and eventually come together. But at closer distances, you're going to lose some compression on the Tamron compared to the Canon because of that. The Canon also has a better maximum magnification ratio as a result of that. Now, where the Tamron may be a winner for you is if you're often in situations where you want as wide coverage as possible at 70 millimeters, because the Canon also breathes there, and at close distances, you're going to find that it frames even tighter, and so you're going to have a hard time if you're trying to step back and there's no more room to go. The Tamron is actually going to serve you better in that instance. Overall, when it comes to autofocus, both of them are highly accurate in their autofocus, and so that is kind of a draw when it comes to that, which is pretty huge for a third-party lens. However, I do give the edge to the Canon in the overall autofocus department for the simple reason that while they both have roughly equal initial focus speed, the Canon goes ahead and locks focus, whereas the Tamron pauses for a split second before focus lock is achieved. And so in many situations, the Canon is still the faster autofocusing lens. Now, one final factor to be considered, and that is when it comes to the overall price. And there, the Tamron has a very clear win. In the US, it comes in at $1,299 compared to about $2,000 for the Canon lens. And so it is, somewhere around 60% of the price of the Canon, which is a pretty huge savings overall. And so if you're at all value oriented, the Tamron is definitely less expensive, and it comes at that price. It also comes with a 6-year warranty here in North America, which definitely trumps the 1 year for the Canon lens. And so overall, hopefully that kind of delineates some of the strengths and weaknesses of both lenses, and so maybe that can help you to make your decision based upon your own shooting needs and priorities, and you can perhaps match the lens that best suits those out of these two. I'm Dustin Abbott, and if you look in the description below, you can see the linkage to my full review of the new Tamron. Also, you can find this video in a playlist that covers a lot of other areas of this lens, both of these lenses really overall. Thanks for watching today, and if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. Have a great day.